Hi, everyone. Thank you, Terry, for that nice introduction and for organizing this each month. And thanks also to Keith, Jeremy, and Andy, and everyone else at Off Square Music for keeping all the music going here. It's really wonderful. And thanks to everyone for your music, your poetry, and just for being here tonight. It's great to be with you. And on that theme of gratitude, I wrote a poem for Thanksgiving. And earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, I lost a very close friend. We'd been friends for almost 50 years. And then more recently, I was at my favorite fish market in Chicago and learned that one of the people who worked there, whom I had seen on a periodic basis for 17 years, had died at, I believe it was age 39. And he just always was so pleasant and helpful. And I started thinking about all of the people who I and you have lost this year. And so, but I feel that the way to approach this is not only through sadness and grief, it's important to acknowledge those, but gratitude is the most positive way that we can do that. And I recall that when I spoke at the services for my late husband, I always ended the remarks by saying, the words from a Blood, Sweat, and Tears song about how happy I was that he was part of my life. And so this is a song for people that we have, a poem for people we have lost called Giving Thanks. It's written for the oft-forgotten holiday that may be the most important holiday we can celebrate. It's dedicated to Chris Bray, Henry Perez, Ann Garrels, Bobby Rydell, Dick Pleasance, Jewel Olvin, Mary McCaslin, Karen Santella, and all others who passed away this year who touched our lives in different ways, and with thanks to each of you this Thanksgiving. You always greeted me with a smile, then carefully filleted the branzino. Although I never knew you well, I remember your skill and kindness with gratitude. We met often on dog walks. Was lucky for you or for your dog? I heard you loved to party and dance. I remember your neighborliness with gratitude. You reported while under fire in Iraq. You hid in a car to give us the human story. You were never as famous as the queen who died the next day. I remember the way you gave us both truth and compassion with gratitude. You were part of the soundtrack of my youth. You sang on the pier next to the diving horse. You may have been the wild one. I remember joining the crowd in singing Volare with gratitude. You brought the songs to us all. Through the music, you created community. You sought neither fame nor fortune. I remember your generosity with gratitude. You collected old instruments and songs. In song circles and barn dances, you built bridges. You were a humble man with a big heart. I remember how you gathered us on an island with gratitude. You and he together were like the bramble and the rose. You spoke of your bassets and sang of the West. You sang of the haunting, mysterious Wendigo. I remember your song about old friends with gratitude. You were the friend who loved both reading and sports. You stood on the front line for the values in which you believed. You could make the profound or the humorous comment. I remember your way of sharing music and love with gratitude. As we approach this oft-forgotten holiday between Halloween and Christmas, let us remember those we knew well and those who touched us occasionally. Most of all, let us rejoice in each moment with those who are still here and share this time with them with gratitude. And I thank you. The next poem, Enlightenment, was inspired by watching them put the Christmas lights up in the holiday lights up in the square last month. And I started thinking about different kinds of light. And the holiday lights actually didn't make it into the poem, but that's how writing poetry and songs goes, right? Enlightenment. Threatening clouds surround rays of sunlight, making it hard to know how the day will go. We wonder if rain will fall on our hopes, or will they be able to soar like a winged kite? Fireflies flicker to the left and right, signaling a desire for a life-giving mate. We wonder if they know life is transitory, or are they telling us to live a life so bright? Lightning flares through the dark night, menacing our sleep and riling our souls. We wonder if this is the end of the world, or is it just a momentary fright? Exploding red flames reach a new height, destroying the centuries-old trees. We wonder if the animals will die, or will they survive the hazardous flight? The skyscrapers shine in the artificial light, blinding the birds who lose their way. We wonder if those below see their threat, or are they comforted by a beautiful sight? Fiery missiles fly as the nations fight, killing both soldiers and civilians. We wonder if war will ever end, or will it leave an unending blight? The crescent moon shines tonight, hovering between the new and the full. We wonder if the child in Ukraine sees it too, or is she deprived of even this simple delight? In a world where might often defeats right, leaving poverty and death in its wake, we wonder if peace is hopeless. Or can we be the givers of light? Thank you and happy Thanksgiving.